Hey, what is going on, you smelly smoochum? Today I'm coming at you with my first take on the Iono's deck, or Iono's Bellibolt deck. It's just going to be the Iono's deck, to be honest, because it does play pretty much every single... I think it does play every single Iono's card. Before we jump into it, though, I'm sure you're wondering, Azul, dope Snorlax shirt, where'd you get it? And the answer, as always, is QualityPatchDesigns.com. Check them out over there. They not only have dope Pokemon search, but a bunch of other dope Pokemon merch as well. So check it out. They got it all. QualityPatchDesigns.com. A link, of course, will be in the description. And let's talk about Bellibolt. It's got 280 HP. Its ability, as often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic lightning energy card from your hand to one of your Iono's Pokemon, and then its attack for 3 lightning and a colorless does 230 damage. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. So a decent number, to be honest. It KO stuff like Terrapagos, Ogerpon, Waterpon, although Fezandipity is another one. That's another big one. So cards like that, Pokemon like that, it does get those knockouts, which can be pretty nice to have as an attacking option. And the ability is pretty powerful. It's a Rain Dance ability, or that's what people call them. They're called Rain Dance abilities. Just accelerating energy into play. Also, it's not limited to attaching to bench Pokemon, which is also really, really good. Of course, the problem is that it is limited to Iono's Pokemon. And that does mean we have like 3 attacking options in this deck. Unless we're attacking with the, what is this thing called again? Tadbulb or the Watchroll. We're going to be attacking with the Bellibolt, potentially the Kilowattrel, does 70 damage for a lightning to colors. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Or the main attacker in the deck, which we'll be attacking the most with, which is this Iono's Voltorb. The Chain Bolt does 20 damage plus 20 more damage for each lightning energy attached to all of your Iono's Pokemon, which is pretty good. It is only 20 plus 20 though. So to do 220 damage, we'll need 10 energy in play. And then to KO something like a, I don't know, a Dragapult EX, we're going to need 15 lightning energy in play. Now we do play 19, so it is possible. Seems pretty difficult, though, to be able to hit those really, really big numbers. I think KOing stuff like Raging Bolts and Ogerpons, that's not too difficult. Getting to the really big numbers is definitely going to be a little bit of a struggle. But we do have a way to get pretty aggressively, cycle pretty aggressively through our deck, and that is the Kilowattrel with its ability Flash Draw. You may use this ability once during your turn by discarding a basic light energy card from this Pokemon and then draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. So that is a pretty powerful draw ability, and when we can kind of put like infinite energy in play through the Bellibolt EX, we're going to be able to see a ton of cards turn to turn. So we got a 3/3 Kilowattrel in here. We're going to try and set up 2 of them pretty aggressively. We'll also need 2 Bellibolts in play, and of course Voltorb will be attacking, which means we have 1 bench space left. And initially I was like, well, you could just play a 4/4 Kilowattrel line and set up 3 of them, which does sound okay, but I think something that might be a little bit better, and I'll have to actually play with the deck to see if this actually makes sense, is the Skwovet in here with the Nest Stash ability. Once during your turn, you may shuffle your hand and put it on the bottom of your deck. If you put any cards on the bottom of your deck in this way, draw a card. So for anyone who played with B-Barrel a lot before it rotated and played decks with like 2 or 3 B-Barrel in a deck, a 2/2 or a 3/3 B-Barrel line, a lot of time you'd include a 1 of Skwovet, because instead of setting up a 3rd B-Barrel, it was usually more beneficial to have the Skwovet that could kind of cycle, like force cycle your hand and allow you to draw more cards with 1 of your B-Barrel draws, or potentially 2 of your B-Barrel draws if that hand was actually then usable and playable, and then draw more with the next B-Barrel. So it's kind of going along that same thought process there. That's why I got the Skwovet in here. It might turn out that this deck flows a little bit more aggressively than something like the B-Barrels did. We don't have a ton of Ultra Ball in this build. There's only 2, and I'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. We have Superior Energy Retrieval, another way to discard cards from our hand. But we don't have that many ways to discard cards from our hand, so our hand could eventually just get clogged up with like Pokemon and supporter cards. So having a way to aggressively move that hand along with the Skwovet's Nest Stash seems pretty good. Further testing might lead me to believe, though, that just like another Kilowattrel on our bench might be better. But that's it. That's our draw power, the Skwovet, the Kilowattrel, our energy acceleration coming in from the Bellibolt, also a decent attacker, and then our main attacker, the Voltorb, in the deck as well. But let's talk about how we're setting these Pokemon up. It seems like every deck right now is an Arven engine deck, and I'm actually not sold on Arven being the best way to play this deck, though. I could see a research build being a little bit more powerful, because we do need to not just get a bunch of energy in play. We need to find those energy cards, and research discards our hand and draws 7 new cards, which is a lot of new cards to see. Arven doesn't do that, but it is really good and really consistent at setting our Pokemon up initially, which is kind of where the trade-off is between something like an Arven and a Research. So we are playing Arven, we are playing TM Evolution, but I also wanted to play this deck to make it feel a little bit better for when we went first. So I am playing a Hyper Aroma in here as well. Searches our deck for 3 Stage 1 Pokemon. So if we go first, Hopefully we find a Buddy Poffin or just some basic Pokemon. Turn 2, Hyper Aroma can find us like double Kilowattrel plus a Bellibolt, and then we're like fully set up, ready to go from there. So I really like the idea of the Hyper Aroma in here. And if not, if we go second, maybe we pull off a turn 1 TM Evolution. And that's why I play such a low Ultra Ball count, because we have good amount of ways to find our stage 1 Pokemon. And then once the Kilowattrel starts cycling with the Squovette, we're going to be able to see so many cards that we should be able to draw into the other Pokemon when we need them. And Voltorbs can be found with the Buddy Poffin because it only has that 70 HP. Actually, all of our basic Pokemon can be found with Buddy Poffin. Buddy Poffin's kind of insane in this deck. So going to be trying out Hyper Aroma, Team Evolution first with the Arven, but I could see Research being the way to go. Gust Effects, you got 2 Boss and a Counter Catcher. I always like playing Counter Catcher when I play Arven, and I'm not sold on this deck being like a super aggressive deck in terms of always being ahead in the prize exchange, despite us being like a 1 prize deck that has the potential to 1-hit KO 2 prize Pokemon. Like I said, we need a lot of energy in play. Not sure how quickly we're going to be able to get there in the early game. 2 Iono, some hand disruption, also a heavy draw supporter, or can be a heavy draw supporter in the early game. For the recovery, I still got a Super Rod and a Superior like I mentioned, because we're going to be discarding energy with the Kilowattrel. We might need more energy recovery, and I'm not sure about the exact balance here between energy count plus energy recovery. Maybe we should go down to 18 Lightning, play a second Superior Energy Retrieval, something like that. Superior Energy Retrievals are really nice, not just for getting energy back, but also discarding cards from our hand, which then allows us to see more cards with the Kilowattrel. But we have more energy recovery in the Stadium card as well, in the, was it Lavincia? I think it's called Lavincia City. But yeah, Stadium card, super powerful Stadium card. Once during each player's turn, that player might put 2 basic Lightning Energy cards from their discard pile into their hand. That's just insane value in a Stadium card. Absolutely absurdly powerful Stadium. I don't really want to see it take off super hard when it first releases, but this Stadium is just insanely powerful. So we have more energy recovery besides these 2 in the Stadium as well. That might be enough, but like I said, we might need like another Superior Energy Retrieval. I do have 1 Energy Search card in this deck, just a Letter of Encouragement. I was at the end of building the deck, and I was like, I kind of just want to play some more like power cards, like things that can allow us to have more powerful turns. So the Counter Catcher made its way into the deck, and then also this Letter of Encouragement made its way into the deck as well. Maybe a Vessel could be better, but I'm gonna stick with the Letter of Encouragement for now. I'm not worried about drawing into energy in general, but I'm worried about having like those more explosive turns as the game progresses. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. And then we got the Team Evo, like I mentioned. I have a rescue board as well, because like I said, our board setup wants to be 2 Kilowattrel, 2 Bellibolt or Tadbulb / Bellibolt, the Attacker and the Voltorb in the Squovette. So we don't have bench space to have double Voltorb in play. So if we want to go back-to-back attacks with Voltorbs, I don't want to be discarding energy to like retreat my Squovette or my Kilowattrel, which do only have 1 retreat cost. I'd rather have a rescue board on a Kilowattrel or on the Squovette, so I don't have to sacrifice energy in play to get to my next Voltorb. So I like the 1 of rescue board for that. And I got 1 Pokegear in here because Arven seems pretty good to find. I could see increasing the Pokegear count by a little bit more even, because yeah, getting Arven seems pretty good. So if we're playing this kind of setup type build, so Pokegear in here to help us find that Arven, and mid-game, late game, you know, being able to help us find Boss's Orders and Iono, still pretty powerful as well. And that's going to do it. That's my first take on the Iono's Bellibolt deck. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think is the best way to play the Iono's build? What do you think about this build? What do you think about Arven versus Research? And I'll catch y'all in the next one.